On the previous episode of Ménage À Mind.
Mr. Sex God, how do men receive you?
All right, well, now we can have like a male, female threesome.
So which part of the sexual act was the most healing?
Transitioning from being a couple to now parents. This is one of the most important conversation that needs to take place, but for some reason has not. And that's why we are here today. Believe it or not, right? And please bear with me. Having a child is not going to save your relationship. And that's a fact. In actuality, having a child and transitioning from being a couple to now a parent is going to be one of the hardest things that you'll ever do in life. That child, this newborn, lovely, full of poop, but full of love, will rock the foundation of your relationship and test all of the relationship skills that you have gained in the past few years or months of being together. Based on the studies of Dr. John Gottman, Bringing Baby Home, it was reported that 67% of parents report a lower relationship satisfaction for the first 3 years of life. First 3 years of life, 2/3 of couples that transition to being parents report a lower relationship satisfaction. So as you can see, this is a major transition. So in today's episode of Ménage À Mind, we are going to take a deep dive into what are the requirements to maintain a healthy relationship while transitioning to being new parents. And I have an amazing guest that is also a mother and a therapist. And we are going to really talk about the skills, the experience, the cheat codes that you need in order to quickly and effectively make that transition. Welcome to our session. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What secret have you kept from your children?
So I'm always leery of your questions because you take it there every time. But for the audience, I fucking hate my I hate I can't tell them that.
Blur that, please. Blur that.
And retake. So, oh God. Okay. What secret am I keeping from them?
Yeah. And why?
And why? Okay. So it's corny. It's real corny. They saved my life.
Oh, wow.
They saved my life, my babies. So at the point of like separation from my marriage, they were my motivation. For a long time, they were my only motivation. So I needed to make sure like I got my work together, I got my money together, I got my residence together. Like I had to pull myself up. They were my motivation. If I didn't have them, I probably would have fallen apart.
Wow.
But I don't want to put that on them because my therapist mind tells me that they don't need that type of pressure to know like they are my light. They are. And I know that that's a little bit on the toxic side from the mothering perspective.
That's actually very common. Like we have found that women that are in abusive relationship will stay on for a number of years and deal with it and generalize it and make it make sense for them. But eventually when they have children, and this abuser become a risk to the children, they find the courage to leave.
Yeah, I couldn't let that pattern of behavior, like what they were watching, and it was just like tension and stress and the environment that we were raising them in. It just wasn't right. It wasn't healthy. It wasn't it. So you're right. I definitely like fall under that statistic. I needed to show them something better. So relationally, they even saved that for me with wanting better for myself so that they could see what it looks like to be in a loving relationship. So now I get to receive that because I want to gift them with that, but it's like, it's a double win.
It's interesting how our mind changes when we become parents. Because I've experienced it with me, right? The minute you become a father, speaking for men, your body and your mind just changes. Like your testosterone level drops, your estrogen increases, so that when the child is crying at night, you're able to listen.
Hold on.
And wake
I
up.
need more.
Come on, man.
I need more.
Secondly,
because I don't think I've heard this before.
No, it's true.
And it's been a while since we talked. So I know you're going to give me the information I need. So what?
Your brain chemistry changes to ensure that you can guarantee the safety and the longevity of your child, right? So you might see the biggest gangster in the world, in the streets, doing crime or whatever it takes, but we'll wear a tutu to play with his little girl, right? That's your brain chemistry changing to ensure that you can connect and build a rapport with your child. And also, about the dad bods, right? It's actually very common that a man will gain weight through pregnancy and through being a father for the first time. They produce a certain level of a hormone, which name I'm forgetting right now, that builds more body fat to ensure that they are, I don't want to say they're more comfortable for the child, but yeah, so that they can connect with the child more and mimic the symptoms of a pregnant woman.
Y'all follow this man.
So when you're pregnant, your man is pregnant too. My wife would hate it when I say we're pregnant. Oh, I have cravings too. She's like, no, I'm the one that's pregnant. Yes, you are.
We are pregnant.
Yes, but men tend to experience the same symptoms depending on how attuned they are with their female partners, right? So if we're close, and we're attuned to each other's needs, the symptoms you're experiencing is very common that I will experience those symptoms as well.
Real rap, that happens during the period too.
Yes.
I thought that was a thing that I
true.
made up, but it's true. Okay.
It's true.
Okay.
I'll be catching an attitude for no reason and things like that.
And the pains, right? The back pains and the belly ache, a little something.
I haven't paid attention to myself to that degree to say that.
I don't know. An ex used to tell me, like, your period is coming, like my back hurt. I know in a few days your period is coming. And he was always spot on. Spot on. That's crazy.
I can tell when my wife is about to get her period because I do the math.
Right.
And I have a running calendar.
Yeah, I'm irregular, so I don't know. Homie had a gift.
That would did I get pimples prior? There's no tell signs?
I don't know.
Oh, I know all of my wife's tell signs.
Okay.
But I ain't gonna say it here.
So he was a liar.
I got game.
He was a liar. That's fine. I'm not surprised. Anyway.
Okay.
Right.
Transitioning.
Moving on.
Hi. How are you?
Fantastic.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you. I hope you know that.
I do.
Amen. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Introduce myself. My name is Michaiah Dominguez. I am a therapist and relationship specialist.
No. Sorry, that's not acceptable.
Come on now. This is my elevator pitch. This is
the therapist.
Oh,
not a therapist. We're not doing that.
I am the therapist and relationship specialist, TikTok partner,
Let's go.
alchemy health expert. It's like commas, divorced mom. I am that bitch. I don't know can I say that?
Yes. It's Menage À Mind.
Okay,
yes,
okay. But yeah, I'm all things like relationships, love relationships. Nothing is off limits when we talk. And so including spirituality, right? That's a big part of what I do as well. So we're always in alignment. We're a vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today I wanted to have a conversation about couples transitioning to being parents. And one of the stats that I shared during the introduction is that 2/3 of couples report a lower relationship satisfaction for the first 3 years. So it is my goal that for us to go a little bit deeper to what happens when we become parents and how do our relationship change and what accommodations and shifts we have to make. So you're a mom, you're a therapist, you're a relationship therapist, you are the therapist, right?
And I am a mess.
Are all parents a mess?
I think so.
I slept for 3 hours last night. No, I'm serious.
Those days for me are over.
Every morning, me and my wife wake up like, how many hours you got? Oh, I got 4. I'm like, I got 3.
Oh no.
So I won.
You did. Those days are over for me. So my youngest just turned 8 on Tuesday. So yeah, they're getting bigger. So I get to sleep the whole night. The entire night. The entire night. Your day is coming.
One day.
Your day is coming. It's all right. It gets better.
So how was that transition for you? So can you talk to us about that transition from being a married woman, a wife, and now transitioning to being a mother for the first time?
Okay, so my story is a little wild because, yeah.
We're here for it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't even want to set it up like that because some of y'all might be, no, that's not wild. Michaiah, please. But, okay, so I knew my ex-husband in high school. We, like, fell off the map. I was teaching. My students told me to, like, create a MySpace page. So now I'm dating myself, right? Yes. They told me, create a MySpace page, Miss Dominguez. You got to because we need our homework assignments, whatever. So I did. And the kids connected to me there. But then, like, out of nowhere, here he comes. He pops up like, are you Michaiah, like from our high school, Michaiah? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So we linked up. 5 months into dating, we were married.
Whoa.
5 months.
Whoa.
5 months.
Okay, so
I did not know this man. For the record, we knew each other in high school vaguely. Like we had some similar circles, but never like the one-on-one time. So yeah, that part.
You know what I'm thinking already, right?
What are you thinking?
But that's not the conversation.
Right. Well, that's another episode.
This is a diagnosis that we need to talk about.
Right. I said.
But
La Toxica. I'm in the building. 5 months in.
So
okay.
You know what? Actually, I actually like that. Right?
I don't.
No. Like the introduction is leading us to. Well, I'm not going to diagnose or label anyone.
Right.
Right. But it's fair to say those are the symptoms of, let's use the word toxic because we're not trying to label, right?
Right.
So how was, from experiencing that, right, and being married in 5 months, and you had your child, how long after?
I think it was, okay, so fast forward a little bit, got married, no wedding, no proposal, no nothing. Just a conversation, got married, jumped right in.
And you weren't a therapist then, right?
I was not.
Okay.
Actually, that marriage helped me to discover my life calling as a therapist because I was looking for answers. I think you said that before. I needed to know what was going on because this couldn't be life. So I went to grad school as like a part of my exit strategy and learned about the relationship, got myself a career.
Got it.
And then, beelines for the door. So Beeline.
Okay.
Yeah. So what the question, how was the transition? So
how long after being married did you create your child?
Right after I told him that I didn't want to be together because we didn't have children together.
Oh, shit.
Probably within that same week, I found out I was pregnant with my first son. I have 3 now with him. But yes, it was within that same week that I said, we have nothing together. We have no property together. We have no investments together. We have no children together. Like this could be the cleanest break ever in history. And then I found out I was pregnant. So for the sake of, because the church, right? Okay, another episode for another day. I didn't want to have my child out of wedlock, especially because I was already married. So we decided to like try to make it work. That was, I want to say, my first son was born 2 years into the marriage.
2 years into the marriage.
2 years in.
How was your pregnancy?
That one was the best one.
Really?
We had 2 baby showers. One in Queens where our church was located and one in Staten Island where my family was.
Showcasing.
Absolutely. Come on. All right.
Look at us.
New episode, different episode for a different day.
We're in love. We're having a baby. Oh my God.
Right. So that was actually the first like public anything that we had as a family because again, there was no marriage. There was no wedding.
How grandiose was your baby shower?
The godparents did a great job. It was just at like somebody's house, but like everybody came through. The car was full of gifts. Like it was a beautiful, beautiful time. He was working the entire time though. So he was in another room on his laptop because, you know, babies are responsibility. So I celebrated with family and friends. It was a fun time. And
Hold on.
I'm trying to speed past it so that we don't have
Pause.
Yes.
You're saying that during the baby shower.
Correct.
He was not present with you. He was in another room working.
Correct.
For both.
Probably correct. Yes, I can't remember the second one in as much detail as the first.
Okay.
But they were beautiful. Those were the only baby showers I had. So for the other two, we didn't have baby showers at all.
Okay.
No maternity shoots, no baby announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a shit show. Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one was the best one. So we had like this slope, and I don't know if other couples.
Now, after you shared what happened with the best two, and you're qualifying the one as the best one, what do you define? The
fact that there even was a baby shower was the best part.
Oh wow!
And that friends and family got to participate.
The bar was that low.
The bar was that low.
Okay.
But in comparison.
It was
a
higher
win.
than the other two.
A win is a win. That's
Yeah.
like a
Okay.
a win is a win.
Did you feel loved throughout your pregnancy? The first one specifically.
There was a beautiful moment during the ultrasound when we found out that he was a boy. It was a very great moment, and in that moment, I felt really loved.
Yeah. Would it have been the same response if it was a girl?
Probably not. No, because he has girls already.
Got it.
So this was like the
first
boy.
Got
so
it.
we called him the Prince.
The
we
junior.
called him the Prince so much everybody thought that was his name, Prince.
That makes sense. Okay. So throughout your pregnancy, throughout the 9 months, how attentive was your partner?
Is this a joke? Did you just hear what I said about the baby showers? If that's an indication of what the rest of the pregnancy was like, you could imagine that.
That's fair.
Yeah, there was none. There was none of that. Like what you see in movies with the belly rubbing or the feet rubbing or the kissing of the belly and all that. That to me is a fantasy that I wonder is real. Like, does that exist?
Yes, it does.
Correct.
Okay.
Not in my life yet. Yes.
Yes.
Because I will have another. But
you deserve a happy pregnancy.
Yes.
You deserve a maternity shoot.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Belly rubs with oils.
And I took some pictures by myself, though. I took pictures solo. And with every baby I had, that baby was in the shoe with me. So, yeah, I have those memories. It was beautiful. My dad, who just recently passed, he took all of my maternity pictures. So I will have those forever. I actually was very happy pregnant. Like extremely happy. That's like the grace of God. But otherwise, like there was like very little support. Went to doctor's appointments by myself. Like, whoo-wee. That last pregnancy was a high risk pregnancy. So I was there like every 2 weeks. It's really like, it's cringe to say it out loud. Yeah. So
But here you are.
But here I am.
Killing the game. Being one of the best therapists in New York City.
Doing my best. I'm doing my best to hang in there.
Thriving.
Despite
everything else.
I would dare to say because of everything else. Ooh. You know what I'm saying?
I like
because
that.
of everything else.
Okay.
So yeah, the pregnancies were really rough. So when you brought this topic to me, like it just makes perfect sense to talk about it because I think there's just too many people really suffering through pregnancies as a couple, because I'm sure like as a man, there's things that you experience. I mean, in general, right? That's just familiar to the male perspective with pregnancy. And then there are things with women. Like, are we going together to doctor's appointments? Are we like...
I didn't miss one.
Eating together? Right.
I did not miss one.
Can I say this? Can I be like, for real? I don't know any men who did that with their wives, with their girlfriends. I know 0 men. Wait, no, I'm lying. 1, my current boyfriend, right? Oh, we got to catch up. As I got to tell you about him.
What?
Yes. Another day, another episode.
Okay.
But yeah, outside of him, I don't know any men that went to every appointment
I didn't miss
that
one.
Like loved on the woman that was carrying a life for them. So
how could you not?
Ask those.
Their body has been taken over. Their body's primary function now is to guarantee the life of the child that they are carrying. Yeah. So everything that they're going through is to preserve that child, your seed.
Yeah.
Right? So how could you not be invested? How could you not be present?
That's what I thought.
The minute I found out my wife was pregnant, she didn't drive, not for one day. I'll take you to work. I'll pick you up. I'll bring you lunch. I'll take you to all your doctor's appointments. This woman was not even allowed to go up the stairs by herself. I was behind her. I can do it myself. Yes, you can, but I'm gonna be right behind you just in case.
Wow.
My protective mode
Wow.
went on full force. I'm talking about Yanni massages every day to guarantee that she didn't tear too much.
I know that you tell the truth.
It's real talk. I was in there.
But inside of me, right? Like, I want to say, like, I want to throw a flag on the play. Like, this is a lie. There's got to be a lie. But I know that you are truthful and you are honest. But I think, like, so in the same way that money magnifies who people really are, I think pregnancy magnifies what a couple really is.
Yes. But it was not easy once the child was now born, right? There were definitely a set of struggles and challenges that we didn't anticipate. And that's my biggest issue with the men around me. Nobody prepared me. Nobody had these conversations with me. No, like, you're just going to learn. I am tired of dealing with experiences that others have dealt with and they've somewhat figured out and did not share the gems. Right. So pregnancy, we were incredible. We did amazing. Child is here. We're not sleeping.
Whole new ball game.
Know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not eating. We're not bathing. Sometimes
it's boot camp.
I forget when I brush my teeth.
Yeah.
She's feeding on demand and all of this, and the arguments are taking place. None of us are feeling prioritized. Right. Unnecessary fights are taking place. The smallest thing become the biggest things.
Absolutely.
Right. So at some point, like, I had to go sit down for a second and be like, yo, what's going on?
What is happening?
What is happening?
Right.
What's happening to our communication skills?
Right.
Our quality time. Where's the masterful relationship that we have built?
It's under attack.
For the past 8 years.
This little human came and destroyed everything.
This little perfect human
right.
that we were so attached to, loved so much, still love. Love my daughters. But goddamn,
blew it up.
If you've never said, fuck them kids,
you're not a parent.
That's because you don't spend enough time with your kids. I average 3 times a week. I look at mine, she'll be like, say it. Fuck them kids. Right? And we had 2 under 2.
Yeah.
And that's a different ballgame. So from what you went through during your pregnancy, how did that translate to now the child being present and you guys having to basically guarantee the lifespan of this child and take care of this prince? How was that?
Very traditional roles. I stayed at home. So the house, the food, the baby, 100% my responsibility. And work was 100% his responsibility.
Okay.
And that was it. It was that cut and dry.
Being a stay-at-home parent versus having a 9-to-5 is not equal. It's not equal.
Can you say it louder, please?
Being a stay-at-home parent is a 24/7 gig.
Right. There's no time off.
You're not sleeping.
Nope.
They wake up, you wake up, change diapers, feeding, breastfeeding, cooking, cleaning, laundry, and etc. And just having a 9-to-5, they're not the same.
Right.
If stay-at-home parents were being paid, they'd have twice the salary of those of a 9-to-5.
Of course.
Just
there's
based
many
on
hats, like all of the different things that we're coordinating. And this doesn't happen often. In his defense, right? He's an entrepreneur. So that is also like a 24/7 kinds of thing, and building it from the ground up. I could understand it was very demanding at that time. So I don't want to, I have my feelings, but the part of the facts is that, having a business is similar to having a baby, right? You have to feed it. You have to nurture it. You have to, emotions aside, there's investment that's different from a 9-to-5.
Correct. Yes.
There's investment. You got to be the first one in, last one out.
Does not equate to a child.
It doesn't. No, and I will never ever say that.
Agree.
But
so would you say prior to the child and after the child, did your relationship got better with the child or did it get worse?
No. So there was like a curve where, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of joy, definitely for the first few months. But that did not equate to like shared responsibilities at all. But how many months old was he? my second son was born when my first one was 15 months old.
Lord.
So I was pregnant through most of my first child's infancy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a shock. And immediately after we learned that news, the relationship declined even further.
Why?
Because now there's double the responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
right? So one was okay, even though it came at an inopportune time, but now there's two. So now we're even further locked in, having relationship difficulty, and now it's like more financial strain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it got significantly worse.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
Did you remain at home due to the finances, knowing that daycare is basically a mortgage?
I did. So I gave up my career. I had been a teacher. I had worked corporate. I had done a whole lot of things because my interests are all over the place. But I definitely had the ability to make good money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? College educated at that time, right? I didn't have a master's, but I had my bachelor's. I could make things work. But I gave all of that up. Yes, because sacrifices have to be made. I didn't want to send my kids to daycare. But then again, like the expense, once they were two, to have two under two in daycare, I would be
That's
paying
$2,500 a month.
At that time, my husband at that time would have had to pay me to go to work because all of my money would have gone into daycare.
Yeah.
And then he would have had to pay for the commute, the lunch, and anything in between.
Life.
The wardrobe, right? He would have had to take responsibility for that. So that was definitely like a wedge in the relationship because we just couldn't. Like there was no compromise. It was a gridlocked issue for sure. There was no movement.
Yeah.
We're stuck. I have to stay home. So I'm feeling crazy because I gave up my career, gave up my education, gave up my life. Can't go out with friends. Can't go socialize. If I'm with my family, it's with the kids too. There was no freedom. Yeah. There was no movement. I wasn't allowed to do it. I wasn't a person anymore.
So you shifted your identity from being an individual, a wife, a career-based woman, to now solely being a mother 24/7.
Right. I was committed to that role only.
That role only. With
and
no
everything
room.
else,
So,
gone.
stay-at-home mom, a mother, a cook, a lover, etc.
I would even say I got to remove the lover out of there because the lover.
We will get to that.
Yeah, that let's.
We will
let's
get
just
to
put,
that.
For the sake of honesty, let's take that part out because mom was it.
Of course. Okay.
Yeah.
So, from your perspective, what did your male partner, your husband at the time, gave up to now being a father? What concessions did they make from your perspective?
From my perspective,
yes.
My perspective alone, not what he shared.
Acknowledgement from your perspective.
From mine, nothing.
Nothing. I hear that a lot.
Nothing.
And that hurts.
Yeah, there were no sleepless nights for him. There was no waking up, changing diapers, bottles. I mean, I was doing breastfeeding or whatever for all of them, but there was no like, I'll cook dinner tonight. No.
Wow.
No.
Wow. I know I hear these stories a lot, and I'm a father myself. I just can't fathom that it's actually true. Because within my household, like, there's nothing that I don't do. I literally have trained myself to go to sleep late at night, just in case our daughter, who's turning 11 months, wake up. So I can be with her, so my wife could sleep and possibly wake up earlier to be with her. So
there's nothing inside of you that says, I own a business. I have things I have to do. Let me prioritize that so that I could provide for these children. Because I hear this a lot from men. I got to be very honest. So
Let's talk about
that never crossed your mind. Did you have to challenge like that at all? Did that come up for you at any time? Because even in therapy with my male clients, this is always the rationale. No, because I have to provide diapers and formula and clothes and all of these things, or a lifestyle, right? I have to sacrifice upfront early on when the child is too young to really remember it anyway.
Are you kidding me?
Listen, this is what I'm hearing.
Are you kidding me?
And as a therapist, I have to put, non-judgmental regard, right? Unconditional positive regard for these men. But I'm like, my mind is blown.
My child requires one thing from me.
And what is that?
That's for me to be present.
So
that's it.
So at no point did you
point
think,
at all. I
let
left
me
my 9
shift
to 5
priorities to the money.
I was at
the
work
child.
one day, right? My wife was at home with the child during maternity leave. She sent me a video of my daughter saying "Dada" for the first time. I received that video. I called on FaceTime just to hear it myself, and she wouldn't say it. I cried right there. Packed my shit up. I went home and never returned.
Wow.
I was not going to miss any milestone of my daughter because of a job. At that time period, I was doing my private practice part-time. I put my vacation in at work. I'm like, yo, I'm going to turn this into a full-time gig, so I'm home. Me and my wife argued about me wanting to be a stay-at-home dad.
Wow.
Now that I have two, I wouldn't do it. But with the first one...
Well, back then, it was a good idea.
With the first one, I would. I literally I put in my vacation, my paternity leave, and then I was home every day. I never missed a milestone again. I was waking up with the babies. I was feeding them. I was going to the park with them daily. I was doing my best as a father to the point, even now, prior to my children, I was a therapist. That was my identity.
Right.
I'm a father now.
Do you see, is the shock like visible on my face? Because this don't make no sense to me.
I'm a father.
Like I get that, but I guess it's still gonna take, I guess from that experience and just from the men that I know and that I'm in touch with on a daily basis, like to unlearn that a man's role is to provide and like forfeit being present.
I do provide.
And you do,
yes.
But you don't prioritize that above being present. And I wonder, like, are there more men like you out there, or is this like bullshit, like straight up? Like, are you the outlier, or I mean,
do I know any? I think so.
This is what I'm saying. I know
I think
one.
so.
I think I know one.
But like,
no, and my brother, right?
It didn't make sense to me. It did not make sense to me. I saw how hard it was on my wife with me having to leave from 9 to 5 and her not having a break during that time period, right? So we bought a home once I found out we were pregnant again.
Right.
I'm like, I need to get the fuck out of New York City. I need space, right? I need room to grow, to lounge. I need a playroom for the kids. I need my wife to have more space. I need a gym for her. I just needed more. So we moved to Jersey.
Right.
And now we have 2 under 2. My wife is currently a stay-at-home mom, but she's in the process of returning to work. So all the finances are on me, which is, I'm perfectly okay with that. But one thing, I'm present throughout the day. I work from home. I have my own office in one of the guest bedrooms. I turned that into my therapy office.
This sounds crazy to me. I'm just gonna be very honest. This sounds wild. So
I was losing my wife because she was a mother. Her identity became she's a mother, right? So it would take her a while to transition from being a mom to being a wife, being present for me.
Right.
And I noticed it was due to the workload that she was experiencing. So,
and not just like literal work, but then the emotional labor.
All
of it, everything.
Women were breastfeeding 40 hours a week. Dealing with 2 kids, cooking, cleaning, whatever it was. Dealing with 2 kids. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? So I noticed that I was losing my wife. And I know a number of women that have talked about their postpartum experiences.
Right.
On how that is difficult, where it takes them a very long time to get back to their self-identity.
Right.
So my biggest goal was to protect my wife against any postpartum experiences. And what most people don't know is postpartum is created through other women that enter their home and tell the mother how to be a better mother. That's where they start to question themselves. That's where the depression kicks in because they feel like they're doing a bad job, and the anxiety. So prior to anyone entering my home, I met them outside. Hey, these are the rules.
I love it.
Keep your comments to yourself. Don't talk about how dirty my home is. Don't say kids need to be fed or
no
etc.
judgment zone.
Yes, and I'm Haitian. So I know within my family structure, somebody's going to come and say some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Still happened. Even though I try to get ahead of it, but it still happened.
But at least you had that protective barrier,
correct.
you know? You attempted to put that up. You did put that up.
Yes, and I communicated that to everyone.
That's what's up.
Her mother, my father, her father, whoever that entered our home.
Wow.
And I had a rule. When somebody walk in, we walk out. If my mom shows up, here you go, bye.
Right. Get that
Her mom
break.
shows up, here you go, bye. We out. We going out to dinner. We're going to go get some drink. Don't call,
them
don't
kids.
text, right? There's
Right,
Pampers,
right.
there's milk. Just keep them alive.
Yeah. And we'll be back.
That's the only requirement. I don't expect you to put them to sleep. I don't expect you to do anything. Just keep them alive. We need a break. And it's the same concept here. Hey, grandma, I'm outside. What? You didn't tell me anything. Okay, here you go. Bye.
You prioritizing the marriage.
The cheat code to surviving being a parent is to create space away from the kids. Not specifically for the men, but mainly for the mother. If the kids are around, she's in mom mode. If the kids are gone, she can transition away from that.
Right.
So that's
And
what
even
I had
that is
to learn.
difficult.
100%.
Being at dinner without wanting to like send that text. How's the kids doing? Is everybody all right?
Her
Is
mom
everybody
is
okay?
amazing with our kids. Her grandma's amazing with our kids. Whenever we go on vacation, I take grandma with me.
That's my plan at this point in life. Yeah.
I'm like, your shift starts from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Apart from that, do whatever you want to do. Go to the beach, go to the pool,
Right.
go drink, go do whatever you want. 7 p.m., here you go.
Right. Now it's our turn.
Exactly.
It's
Let's
our turn.
turn up.
But see,
And we end up sleeping for like 12 hours.
but I'm noticing, right? You like your wife. So what?
I love my wife.
Right, but you like her too.
I like my wife.
Right. And
I
that
had to
matters.
get her back.
So you wanted her back. But see,
She was robbed from me.
Oh,
These
God.
kids took my best friend
but they did.
from me.
and they did.
I had to get her back.
But see, most people though, they don't have that motivation because there's resentment. So what you're describing, like you notice what your wife was experiencing and she was being drawn away from you. Like, I feel like most couples, they see that and they get angry about it as opposed to having the thought of, I need to get this back. Like, let's go into recovery mode. Let's repair this. I feel like the resentment is such a barrier. And it's like, so I hate you because you love the kids so much that you're giving up your everything for them.
But
then I hate you because you get to go out and go to work and go meet with your friends and have
go
a life.
to the gym,
and that resentment,
you're hanging out.
bro,
I'm home every
resentment,
day.
even when there was the opportunity to date, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
Because I don't even fucking like you. And you don't like me. And it's obvious, right? And I think a lot of couples experience that.
100%.
I don't even like you anymore.
Your identity shifts.
Right.
Your priority shifts.
Right.
Your relationship becomes on a lower scale than what it was previously. Now is we're taking care of the kids. So couples that have children only spend 10% of their time together. Right? So let's get to the science of it. Right?
I just
let's
wish I
put
didn't.
numbers to it.
I don't want to fall in those numbers, but I did.
10% of their time together. Right? During that 10%, she want to go to bed because she's tired.
Facts.
He wants to have sex.
Yikes.
And expects
Don't
that
touch
a
me.
woman can transition from dealing with kids all day or dealing with work all day, felt ignored, not prioritized,
Do not touch
wanted, no friendship, overstimulated by those kids.
Do not touch me.
To be ready to perform.
Do not touch me. And that word perform, you hit that on the head.
It's a performance.
Yeah, all day. People
They don't want it.
pulling at me,
Don't
wanting
touch me.
needing me, touching me.
Leave me
even with
alone. I'm
breastfeeding.
tired.
I want my
I want
body
to sleep.
to be mine.
I gotta wake up in 2 hours to breastfeed again.
There it is.
So I need to close my eyes because that might be the only 2 hours I get to sleep in these 24 hours. Right? So that 10%, I had to learn how to make it count.
Okay.
Right? And to me, it's a little bit unfair because I'm a couples therapist. So a lot of times I'm hearing from the couples what they're experiencing.
And you're learning from that.
So
right?
as I'm solving their own issues, I'm solving mine. Right? And then I can then implement these things into my relationship. And again, like I'm very research based. Right. I went straight to God, man. Hey, what do I got on this?
Right.
Because if I'm experiencing it, others have, right?
Right.
So yeah, so it's learning how to make that 10% count. Date night, once a week, that's a non-negotiable.
Wow.
Babe, I'm tired today. I don't care. Get dressed, we out. But I want to get dressed. Put them sweats on and we're out.
Wow.
It don't matter, right? I have babysitters now.
But you had them on deck. It's just blowing.
I have to build that. I had to build
blowing
that.
my mind that you like put in the work. So, I mean, step one, right, is always identifying the problem. You did the research. You knew what it was about. But then step two, like being motivated enough to take action. But then you have the community. You resource them, right? Like you got the people together slowly, surely.
We're in South Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Our family is in New York.
Right.
So that's a 90-minute drive.
Right. But the fact that you coordinated that.
Every 2 weeks.
That's effort. That type of effort.
From Friday to Sunday.
I'm struggling because how? Because how did you do that?
I had to. It was survival mode because I had to save her and I had to save my relationship. Now let's transition to sex life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
save the sex life.
Right. So it's reported that during the first year that moms are breastfeeding, that their sex drive tends to be very low and can remain to that degree for a number of years. I'm also on the What to Expect app. Know what app that is?
No. What to expect when you're expecting? Like from the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm always reading the relationship section. Is women complaining about not having a sex drive and their men desiring sex? And what's also interesting is during that time period, when you transition from being a couple to a parent, that's when infidelity, domestic violence, and mental health challenges increases. And it makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So could you speak to your experience on what impact did breastfeeding had on your sex life? And also what impact did the workload not being balanced really had on your relationship?
Yeah. So I can't even blame breastfeeding. I think, oh man. So the first is like all the body changes.
You got to learn to love your body again.
Right. But so for women though, it's the desirability that I think, and the comfort in being in your own skin and knowing that you're desired for however it is you look.
Your stretch marks.
That, right.
Your C-section mark.
That's everything.
The extra skin.
Right.
Not snapping back. And we really need to get rid of that concept into this culture. Snapbacks. Yes, celebrities that keep putting that on social media. Fuck yeah.
Right.
Real talk.
Right.
I'm sorry.
And I mean, sidebar, I snapped back, but I still had a problem. So I think after my second pregnancy, I went back to a weight of when I was in high school. Like I dropped 70 pounds, 80 pounds after the second baby. Right. And it's crazy to look at your body and see you gonna stop going in. That's what I need you to time out on that.
Listen, right? Women give birth and usually some weight goes. Us men that gain weight throughout that pregnancy, we still maintain that weight after y'all give birth.
Right. So it's the audacity for me of somebody who would gain weight and then tell me that I need to lose it. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But yeah, I think there was a disconnect because I no longer felt desired.
Yeah.
And then I was harshly criticizing the changes in my own body. So there was no like being mindful and being present in the moment to create sexual intimacy. So although I was a wife and I still ascribe to this day, I don't say no. I don't say no. When I'm married, I don't say no.
Really?
However, you will feel the difference between just not saying no and an enthusiastic yes. And that took me time to understand the difference. Did you feel like you couldn't say no? No. I mean, I like sex, so I'm going to have it, right? When it's offered, I'm going to take it. But when it's offered, I may not initiate if I'm not in the mood, but I'm never going to turn it down. But there is that distinction, though. And I think that's something I learned in hindsight. It's not exciting to have some sex with someone who's like, okay, versus yes, please. Like, okay, or I'm going to initiate. I didn't do that. Yeah. But I never turned it down. But still.
How was your sex drive?
My sex drive doesn't go anywhere, like on a daily. It's just pretty constant. I'm a Leo, so that's one of our traits, right? It's just up there.
And I get that from a lot of men. Like, hey, we're not having sex and we're not connecting. And that tends to be a space of contention, and that's because we don't understand each other's needs in relation to sex. Right. So a woman needs emotional connection in order to be physically connected, while a man needs physical connection in order to be emotionally connected. So we're missing each other. The chicken or the egg, right? We're missing each other, right? But the key is to take that 10% of time that you have together and create a space for both. So fellas, I'm talking to ya, right? Hey, the kids are put down to sleep. Instead of going and asking for sex, give her a massage. Lay her down, give her a nice massage. Or sit up and talk to her. Get the glass of wine. Right. Here's yours, here's mine.
Because it's the only adult interaction she's going to have for that day. Yes.
Talk to her throughout the day. Give her hugs, words of encouragement. Learn to take the child away so she can have some time to herself. Tell her, hey, I'm going to take the child. You go shower. You go eat. You go take a nap.
Wait, so the the solution is not to criticize her and tell her that she is letting go of herself and no?
It's called chore play.
Oh, wow.
Not foreplay, chore play.
So it's not okay to just like treat your wife like shit and make her feel like shit about not being able to shower?
And that's the go-to. Okay. That tends to be our go-to. You're not giving me sex, and that's not okay. You're a wife. Those are your responsibilities. I'm thinking of leaving this relationship because it's not working for me. Men will throw a tantrum after 3 days of no intimacy. And I get that and I understand that. But we also have to understand that that transition is not easy for a woman. The sex drive is going to drop, right? So you have to be understanding and you have to become more tactful on how you initiate sex.
Follow this man.
Do the laundry. Take her on vacation without the kids.
I'm having a hard time accepting this.
Tell her to go shower. I don't create that time.
Women don't
be home more. Stop hanging out with the bros. Take the kids out for a drive.
What?
So she could have some time to herself.
What?
If she needs to feel as an individual first before she could cater to you, she must cater to herself first. So create that time so she could cater to herself.
I really hope people are listening to this.
But it's true.
No, I really do hope so because I don't hear this enough. And not from men. From women, of course, there's like this cry of, this is what I need. This is what I absolutely have to feel connected. But also, men, don't be deceived because a woman like me could default in place. I'll have sex with you and still not like you. That doesn't mean that your relationship is not, that your relationship is solid just because there's sex. So in a marriage, like what I experience and what I hear from a lot of my clients is that, I'm saying yes, we're going through the motions, but I still don't feel connected to him because he still don't get it.
And that resentment is going to grow.
Exactly.
Because now I'm giving myself to you, but I'm not getting nothing from it.
Exactly. Right? Exactly.
Right.
And then the exit strategy.
Resentment turns to contempt. And contempt is the highest predictor of divorce with a 97% accuracy.
Number one.
So that's why, again, in relationships, we need to have these uncomfortable conversations. And I feel like as males, we need to create the space to continue to have these conversations and inform each other. Right? Because now that I've gone and done the research and I'm learning these things and I'm putting them into practice and I'm working with couples that have children and things like this, now I'm going back to my boys that are married with kids. Yo, how's your relationship going? Yo, it's bad. We're not having sex. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Right? And fidelity is rising. It's a really big issue. But again, that's because we're not having these conversations.
Right. So thank you for having this conversation. No, because somebody needs to hear this.
No, but it's normal for the sex to drop. But as men, we need to remember not to weaponize that against our partners, but instead create some compassion, some understanding, right? Become more mindful on how we are being present and not just being a provider. More mindful on how we are assisting throughout the day. I even went as far as hired a night nurse. Hey, you come put these kids to sleep. You stay awake with them while me and my wife sleeps. One of the greatest but most expensive.
I was about to say that sounds very pricey.
We weren't sleeping.
Right.
We're not sleeping. We're arguing. Right? Because we're running on empty. So it's easy to argue.
Absolutely.
We can blame our child. We can yell at our kids because we have what's that term?
Gentle parenting.
Fuck that shit.
Another episode for another day.
So instead, we can go at each other.
Right.
But the real problem is not the kids and it's not the relationship. It's the fact this is a lot.
Circumstantial.
Yes.
Right. And I think if more people remembered that marriage is a long-term game, parenting is a long-term game, then there's less stress in the moment to have it all figured out and have it feel good and have it all be perfect.
Yes.
It's long-term.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when it comes to sex, men just need a space. Just the opportunity and they're ready to have sex. Men are microwave, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the term that we describe most men. Not all men, most.
Mm-hmm.
While a woman is an oven that needs to warm up. So throughout the day, foreplay is a 24-hour process.
Preach.
From the minute you wake up, you should start your foreplay. Hugs, kisses, conversations. You make lunch, you sit together, you have lunch. While she's breastfeeding, you're rubbing her feet. You're rubbing her breast afterwards just to alleviate the stress. You're rubbing her shoulders. You're cultivating time within your schedule so she can engage in some self-care.
So somebody's listening to this like, yo, this is a lot, right? You're a man, so I can't speak for men. But the male clients I have, they're like, I don't know how to put all of this together, right? I'm thinking about finances. I never had my father in my life. I'm thinking about, how to be a better person, how to do my own healing and be a husband and be a father. Like, where is the space for all of this? Like, how do you fit it all? How do you do it? Because it sounds crazy to me, and I'm not even a man.
I am big on cheat codes.
Okay, so
I don't
what
work
is
hard.
the cheat
I work
code?
smart.
What's the cheat
Every
code?
morning, hey babe, what are 3 things that I can do to make you feel loved today? You know what? If
the panties are dropping right there. With
during-
the question, there is no answer. The answer is take these drawers off. No, but really, I mean, that's such a simple takeaway to be able to apply it like right now. Anybody could do that.
She will tell me when you don't have sessions, can you take the kids so I can get some time to myself? Guaranteed. During lunch, I'm going to take them for a walk outside. You get to relax. I got the dishes. I'll make lunch or I'll order lunch. I always make breakfast. Dinner time, we'll order out. Whatever you need. I've run her a bath consistently.
That's the word.
Depending on what time we go to sleep,
yes.
You're getting a massage. And I'm going to get on your ass to work out. Hey, babe, it's time to work out. I don't feel like it. Here's this Red Bull. Now go work out.
But all of what you just mentioned come before the recommendation or the expectation to work out. Yes. And that's what a lot of men miss.
Correct.
I'm going to make the demand. I'm going to set the expectation for the workout and the sex before making sure that I've taken care of some like emotional responsibilities. Whenever
your partner says no to you, ask yourself, what did I fail to do that day? Do not attack them, but self-reflect and take inventory of your performance that day.
Wow.
And then you'll have your answer there.
So is that gender specific directed to men? Or are we talking to women too?
It's across all board, both men and women and however you identify.
Okay.
It's that simple.
It's that
your
simple.
partner is not your enemy. Stop treating them as such. It's that simple.
That's simple.
Which brings us to the conclusion of session 4 of Ménage À Mind, transitioning from being a couple to a parent. Thank you again, Michaiah, for being present with me. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you
too. I care for you. I believe in you. You are amazing. You are destined for greatness.
There's no tears on this podcast. I'm not crying. You can't make me.
Yeah. Any quick takeaway?
Absolutely not. I think you wrapped it up.
Nice.
Perfect little bow.
And where can they find you?
info@Michaiah.life to email with any questions about consultations, podcasts, workshops, events.
Yes.
And Michaiah.life is the website to find my books and anything else you need to know, all things Michaiah.
Excellent. Thank you again.
Thank you. on the next episode of Ménage À Mind.
SAD, which is seasonal affective depression.
You look like you want to cry. You can cry if you want.
But how do we know they ever wanted to be a mother?